Limited edition? No. I mean, like, it's a Pop-Tart, I'll eat it, but like... But anyways, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I decided I'd switch up the scenery. I felt like I was sitting in my room too many videos in a row, so I decided to come downstairs, sit in the comfy chair, which is also a rocking chair, so that's pretty cool, and just review some of you guys' edits. Not really a review, more just like reacting to it, but I'm excited. Before we get started though, I do want to say that it is 80 degrees outside in North Carolina. But, you know, bad haircuts don't really care what time of year it is. So we're just gonna leave this on the top of my head for the rest of the video. So anyway, if you live under a rock, if you didn't watch the video I put out last week, I said, hey, I want you guys to edit my photos, and I sent out a Google Drive link that had both RAW files and JPEG files. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's start with the, I think this is the only drone shot in here. I took this in Colorado this winter actually, and I just found this roundabout. This was about a block away from our hotel, and I just decided, hey, let's shoot this roundabout. I thought it was cool with the snow on it and stuff like that. So the first edit, this one is actually pretty interesting because I personally wouldn't have edited it like this because it makes it look a lot more like dirty. You change the sidewalk color to like a more sandy color, so it looks like it's more of like a sand and snow mix rather than just snow and a concrete sidewalk. So pretty interesting there. I don't really know how this was edited, where it was edited, but it just seems to be a basic color shift, color correction, and stuff like that. Also looks like the the exposure was turned up a little bit because the colors in the center of the roundabout seem to be a little bit more washed out. So very interesting. It looks like it's just dirty. So this edit it, actually is just completely off the charts here. I like this. I like this a lot because, you know, I sent out the RAW files. I was like, all right, I'm gonna have, you know, people that adjusted the crop, people that maybe fixed the horizon, people that put a preset on there and tweaked the contrast, stuff like that. But this person went above and beyond and decided to cut out the roundabout to make it just the roads and sidewalks and put the sky above it. That's not even the sky. Is this the sky? No, I think it's like a satellite image of Earth, because it looks like land right here. The edges are pretty nice. I don't know why it has kind of a glow. Maybe that was intentional to make it look like it was actually like separated from the ground here. The sidewalks again kind of look more sandy rather than just pure concrete. So, and I guess just overall saturation was boosted. I like this edit. All right, so the next photo is this one. This was taken at the top of Stone Mountain when I went hiking back in like probably December. I don't really shoot landscape very often anymore. That used to be all that I shot, and then I would like crop it to portrait afterwards. I really like this. It's got that golden hour look, but it's also foggy, so it's like, what's happening? Like, have you ever seen a sunset, or like when the sun was setting and the clouds were out, like you could still see that the sun was setting and it was just kind of orange everywhere? That's what this reminds me of. I'm worried this is a problem because I told you to send me over Instagram DMs. That might not be the best form of, I knew that, and I was like, you know what, I don't care, because these will appear in a video. They're not gonna be sitting on your screen, all 16 megapixels of them. It's just gonna be a 1080p video. So hopefully this is the only one that's like that, and that was just that person who sent me that. I get like mad Village vibes from this photo. If you ever seen The Village, and she's running through the woods trying to get to the towns. Definitely an advantage of putting it in black and white is you do away with all this chromatic aberration over here, because it's just black and white. You don't have to deal with purple and green and taking those out. It just black and white deals with all of that. This was during the time that I had rented the Canon 24-70 f2.8L lens, which I highly recommend if you want to rent a lens. It was a lot of fun. I got to shoot a wedding with it, and I got to just mess around with it. Here we go, first edit. This is a really interesting take. I definitely wouldn't do this, but that's just a personal thing. But it's a lot of like pink. I kind of tend to stay away from that unless like it looks natural. Oh, I didn't even notice the crop fix. You put his feet more toward the bottom. I think also they brought up the contrast, if I'm not wrong. It's interesting. It's not a kind of color style that I see very often when it comes to portraits. My goodness, dude, the sun is just going crazy today. Somebody call the fire department because the sun is gonna, I don't know. But anyway, this one is, seems like it was just a coloring adjustment to the photo, and I really like it. The concrete looks a lot more interesting now. It's got like a slight blue hue to it. The grain is really cool. I really like that. You definitely brought up the colors in the trees, and I like that. Makes it look just a tad bit more green. You don't have to go absolutely crazy when editing a photo. This was taken about 15 minutes, not even 15 minutes, probably like 20 minutes after the previous one. A little bit underexposed, but I shot in RAW, so that really doesn't matter too much. So this one, again, with the purple, it's so interesting because I don't see it that often. And it's not like it's trying to mimic a golden hour shot. It's purely just like this kind of weird pink shade. And I don't see it that often, so it's really interesting. They brought up the exposure a little bit, but not obnoxiously high that it tried to change the time of day that this was taken. I mean, it covers the bases of what the photo needed. Oh my goodness, it's so small. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that the quality is so bad. I didn't think it would impact me this much. But I like this because this is like a very standard edit. You cropped it in so you could see the person better. Maybe what they were holding was distracting you or something like that. I want to say basic, but I don't want to be like condescending when I say that. Like this did exactly, like it fixed exactly what was wrong with this photo. And I think that was a good edit. It's not crazy with the coloring. You brought back the saturation and appropriate amount. You know, it doesn't look obnoxious. His shirt is not obnoxiously blue now. It looks good. Easily my favorite edit of this one, just because of the creativity expressed with it. First off, exposure was brought up, probably to where I would have brought it up to. I think, you know, with people shots, I tend to favor the slightly overexposed look because you don't really need to see the sky in this photo. It was overcast. What you see is what you get. There's no clouds hiding in these highlights. You don't have to worry about that. Obviously the angel wings were a creative touch. Now his facial expression seems a lot more, you know, meaningful because like this angel flew down and he's just disgusted with you. He's like, what are you doing? Come on. So next photo is this one. I woke up at 7 o'clock to go to the top of the road of my neighborhood to take these photos, and these are some of the best photos I think I've taken with this kit lens yet. I really enjoyed this shoot. It was one of those shoots where it's just like you take the same photo over and over again because you can't really believe how good it is. Waking up at sunrise is always worth it. It's definitely going to make wherever you're shooting look 10 times better. Pretty simple edit. I don't think they did anything to the exposure on this one, but it really emphasizes the plant in the background. Looks a lot more golden. Emphasizes the sun rays going past the tree. Not every edit has to change the scenery extremely. I mean, if what's working well, you can just stick with it, make subtle adjustments, and 9 times out of 10, that's kind of all that happens in Lightroom is just tiny adjustments to make the photo better. Here's another one. It really brings out the glow on the fence gate. You can still see that the trees here, you can still make out the background is probably more trees. And this is kind of like where I usually end up with on exposing my image. I see a lot of photographers get their camera and they're just snapping away, and they're all underexposed. They're sharp, they're in focus, but they're underexposed, and it's like, I can't see anything. If you do that on purpose, that's cool, like that's your style, but it's just not my personal preference. I'd rather have a photo that's like just barely overexposed and bring it back than to shoot underexposed and try to up the exposure in post. I think it looks better. So this is more along the lines of what I would do. I like it. What the heck did I just do? Oh, this is sick. What did I do? Q? No. Escape? Tab? Escape. Oh, okay. Squiggle mark key is magnifying glass. I never knew that. This was taken again with the Canon kit lens, the 18 to 135. This was probably about 50 millimeters where I took this. This is something that I've been trying to do in Lightroom for a while, is actually change the color of whatever. I've been trying to do this and I had like mixed results in the past, so I'm glad that somebody did this. Also because, you know, Performance Blue Focus STs look amazing, but also this was done really well. They tweaked the exposure a little bit, either not the exposure but the cast, so it looks more golden. That's cool. I would have done that as well. I really like it. I don't know if they cut out the car so that the color would change. I don't know how it works. The tint of the window, I think, is the only weird thing about this. Pretty convincing, and it's not an obnoxious edit. Like, you change something major in the photo, but it's not obnoxious and it doesn't look fake. It's pretty well done. I'm gonna apologize profusely because this is Instagram DM quality, but I really like this as well. This is an example of the more drastic kind of edit where it's punchy contrast, deep blacks, and a little bit of purple in here. I don't know how I feel about that because it is like affecting the headlight. It actually looks more like a sunset shot with how deep the blacks are and how golden the trees are in the background. Another thing I forgot to mention is that they cropped it, and I really like that because this photo works really well with landscape crop as well. I think it's in focus enough that it could work. Yeah, almost. It could work as like a computer background, so I really like what they did with that. All right, so this one kind of did the same thing with the crop, except it's not blatantly landscape, it's more of just a square. And I think that's pretty interesting because you get more of the road in it rather than more sky. This actually is a really great edit. I think it does everything that the photo needed. It brought up the exposure in the shadows so you can see more of the wheels. It brought up the exposure in the grille so you can read the letters. You can see more of the sun. It makes it more golden in the highlights of the sky. I think this would work well as like a magazine page for the car. I think it's it's not a crazy edit, but it like kind of plays off of what's already going on in the photo. I included this as a joke. That's why I named it lol.jpg. But this is a blurry photo of me standing at the lake. Not much to say about this photo. I was just exploring. Too bad I was out of focus, man. This could have been a banger. Some of y'all actually sent me back edited versions of this. I don't know what to say about this. You got the rain cloud over my head. Makes it look a lot sadder than it actually was. 10 out of 10 edit. All right, I'm gonna be completely honest. When I first looked at this photo, I really didn't see myself for like a good 5 minutes. But when I found myself, I thought it was great. I got some new shoes. That's pretty cool. Also, none of these dudes are hitting the whip, so I'm holding it down. I think this was great. I think this plays to my strengths. Definitely put some black and white in there. You can see more of my hoodie. Yeah, I fit right in. All right, so that's gonna do it. Thanks so much to those who sent me photos. I appreciate it. I'm sorry that I didn't touch on every single edited photo sent back to me, but I had a lot of fun looking at what you guys did. I think this is a pretty cool thing to do. You get to see your photos through the lens of somebody else's creativity, see what they decided to do, their style on your photos. It's pretty cool. I think this is a great exercise as well in learning what is possible with your photos. If you're in a creative funk and you edit all your photos the same, sending some raw files to some of your buddies and just saying, hey, edit these how you would usually edit photos really helps you to kind of just break out of that creative block and start experimenting with different kinds of styles. So I enjoyed doing this. Definitely not going to be the last time I do this on the channel, but yeah. So thanks so much for watching. Subscribe if you want, and I will see you guys later. We're being honest here. This whole thing, this whole shebang, see what that looks like? What? No.